Kingcayne.
Alright, so what's going on, y'all? We're gonna try a new game this week. Fallout 4. It's like a post-apocalyptic game. Um, I haven't played it in a while. I actually never played it on PC, so I gotta start over. But today's Gems in Gaming is teaching you about having discipline and how discipline shapes you. Discipline shapes you. Yes, so you ever hear you are what you eat. You heard that before. Like basically, your body, um, you know, your body essentially is going to be the direct result of of what you eat and who you are. So if you eating like chips and pizza and whatever else consistently, then you can't expect to be overweight or lazy, whatever case is, right? Whatever you eat, your body will 100% reflect that over time. We got to keep that same mentality about how we spend our time as well. So, you know, for example, you guys know I come on here on Saturdays. I'll try to play a game and just spit wisdom and spit knowledge. And I find that it's easier for me to speak to people, or it's easier for me to talk about knowledge, or to like tell people some stuff that's been on my mind, on my heart. The more I tell my stories and the more I get certain stuff out there, like it's easy for me to talk to people in IRL, right? So in the real life. I had someone talk to me. They came over our house and they were just I don't know what we were talking about. It was just casual. We were chilling. A friend I ain't seen in a long time, and then his wife asked me. I think we were talking about like addictions or something like that, and she asked me. She was like, "Hey, Tyreek, what are you addicted to?" Or Kingcayne, what are you addicted to? However you know me. And I told her straight up. I was just like, "Oh, I had a huge addiction to porn." And I was, I did a Gems and Gaming on battling addiction, how how it shapes you, the things that you do, things that you do on a consistent basis shapes the way you think, shapes the way I'm not gonna lie, I'm struggling trying to make this character. There's no curly hairs. I mean, if y'all ever see like the games I play, I always play with women. And I always make the character try to resemble my wife, try to resemble Kelly as much as possible. But this is a post-apocalyptic game, so I guess the idea is that, you know, you probably wouldn't be rocking the curls, but like no braids, no dreads. Like, come on, bro. What is this? Man, we know what it is, but come on. So anyway, that type of stuff shapes, stuff that you do, having no discipline, that shapes the way you think. You are what you eat. So think about the exact same thing that you are what you do. All right. Some people like hear me say that stuff like, I had a huge porn addiction, and they kind of get like, I don't know. Some of their reactions sometimes is like, "Oh my God, I can't believe he said that," or I can't believe, why would he admit that? It's because it doesn't have a hold on me anymore. And the reason, I don't mind it at all is because like I know that my story isn't meant to, um,
You like bananas, right?
yeah, I don't know how God made people, man. This is tough. My story isn't meant to just, and my victories aren't meant to just be for me. They'll be for everybody. So if you learn from the stuff that I'm telling you, then perfect. I'm struggling. We just gonna have to rock it like this. I ain't gonna lie. Let's see. Yeah, Kelly, you just gonna have to be coffee colored. Try to make you some eyes, but I'm struggling, man. We just gonna have to rock. We just gonna have to rock this, man. I'm struggling. But so
Let me just slide
you know,
in here.
I like keeping the idea of you are what you eat being the focus of my story and my conversation. Being the example, because we gotta keep that same energy for how we spend our time, pretty much. Like how we spend our time matters. You know, what you do matters, and the reason I like talking about, not like talking about it, but the reason I don't mind talking about, um, how I spent my time for a long period of time, because that shaped my mentality around certain women. It shaped the way I think, um, and thought about other people.
Okay, go
Right.
on.
So my mentality was starting to become the thing that I was doing behind closed doors. The things that I was uh, just how I was behind closed doors, the things that I was trying to keep in secret, whatever the case may be, without even noticing, it starts to become a part of who you are, right? So if that's becoming a part of who I am, and I'm just continuing to do those things, and I'm not having any discipline. I'm not disciplining myself or making sure that I am getting a hold of these things that are becoming a problem, or spending my time wisely, whatever the case is, they start to become me. Like I said, I started to look at women and objectify them. I started to I'm also playing without sound, so if they're telling me what to do, I'm clearly missing it. This is a game that matters about the sound, obviously.
Abraxo, any
Um,
cleaning needs?
I think what's happening is she's talking every time I touch something. I'm clearly gonna be missing stuff here, so bear with me. But
Thanks, Codsworth.
if I'm objectifying women, then what's the root? Why am I doing it, right? And for me, because I had a porn addiction, it's easy to identify. Well, it was easier once I became more mature to identify why I was doing what I was doing. Why things were, why I was, you know, thinking a certain way and and behaving a certain way. So
Grognak the Barbarian
now,
and General of the Bat
I don't have that addiction anymore. Um, Thank God. By the grace of God, I don't have that addiction anymore. I don't. My mentality is so different now. Like the way that I feel, the way that I am, the way that I think, it's so different, right? So now when I talk to people who I can clearly tell have that addiction, just by just by the things that they say, even the things that they look at on their IG, like on their Twitter, on their TikTok, whatever, on social. Like I can tell just how people scroll, just how people think. I can clearly see now how the things that we do matters. Uh, shapes who we are. And if you don't have discipline to get a hold of your struggles, or get a hold of your time management, get a hold of your, if you're not being wise with your time, then you'll just be anything. You'll be your worst version of you. um and guys, forgive me for just sitting here. Like I told y'all, I ain't got the sound on, so if something's supposed to happen, I'm definitely missing it. But I feel like supposed to just let the TV play. But yeah. So going back to you are what you eat. So now, if you are how you spend your time,
Codsworth?
imagine if you just wake up, get on your phone, get on Twitter, get on IG, get on just, just whatever social, right? Imagine
Good morning.
if every morning, instead of doing that, every morning
You can't begin to
you
know how happy I am
read
to
your
finally
Bible
meet you. I've been
or religious
trying for
text
days. It's a matter
or
of
read a
utmost
book or
urgency,
worked
I
out.
assure you.
You know, imagine doing something that you just spiritually got better or mentally got better. All right? And
I'm
now
glad I opened the door.
instead of waking up, you know, judging or whatever it is you do on social, right?
Now
You
I
know,
know you're a
instead
busy
of the
woman,
news
so
being the
I'd
first
like
thing
to
in your
take
head, the
your
first thing in your
time.
day is now
I'm
getting
being,
better and now developing yourself.
precious
Now all of a
about
sudden,
I'm here today to tell
you will be different. Now all of a
your
sudden, that
family
discipline
service to our
of
country.
staying away from
You
a
have
distraction
been
and
pre-selected
developing
for
right out the
entrance
gate,
into
you would be a
local
completely different
vault.
person 2 weeks
Vault
before the
111.
time that you started. Completely different person. And I'm only telling you this because I did it, right? How could I, I'm not gonna just tell you something so personal about things that I struggle with if I don't think that it works out, right? I know it works. I know it works, man. It's occurring to me that they're talking, right? And I'm like talking. I hope this. I hope the audio comes out okay, but we'll see. We'll see.
Sure.
Sorry
Splendid.
if it's conflicting.
Splendid. Now, let's see.
But yeah, just back to the point that let's name her after. Let's just name her after Kelly. Oh, it's called Kelly Kels, so let's just call her Kels. Y'all can't call her that, by the way. That's me. But what was I saying? So now you reshape the way that you start in your day. You're reshaping things that you do. You are what you eat. You are how you spend your time. Right? Like physically you can see it. Spiritually you really can't. Physically it's very clear how you are. Spiritually it's not clear at all. All right. Mentally to someone who's mentally more advanced than you are, it's gonna be clearer than them too. If I'm being honest with you, it's gonna be clearer to them too how you spend your time and how you use your education and stuff like that. Like it's obvious to the people that is obvious too. Does that make sense? That's crazy. It's obvious. Like for the ones that can really understand it, it's obvious for those type of people. For the ones that don't understand, they just don't get it. You can tell a disciplined person from a non-disciplined person just by the way that they behave, by the way they act, by the way that they speak, by the things that they talk about. I am not a huge fan of. I am not a huge fan of sports media just because of the things that they're teaching. I don't think that they're teaching people about the actual sport. It's more like a judgment center, right? It's just like, it's not really, in my opinion, it's not really education. I can tell when someone gets their news from sport analyst shows and stuff like that, just based off the conversation that we have. I actually watch basketball. I play basketball. I still play basketball. I watch it. The sport of basketball, not the NBA, just the sport. I'm a huge fan. I hear people laugh when I talk about WNBA players or women players. It's hilarious to me because it's like, my cousin's trying to go to the WNBA. Right? I just love that she plays basketball. Well, it doesn't matter, that she's a woman. For people that don't actually, care about the sport or care about, they don't care about the art. That's how I look at it. They'll just get their news from whatever popular analyst it is, and just regurgitate whatever it is that they hear. Oh snap! Okay, that's crazy.
Yeah, sounds like that.
So they're not even, and people do that constantly. Not just sports. I bring up sports as an example, but they'll do that for Twitter. They'll do that for any topic, anything that they see on social media. They'll talk about those things. They'll talk about those things. Like they don't get the info. They don't take the time to actually research whatever. They'll just regurgitate what it is that they heard.
Oh my God.
Right? And that's, unfortunately, a lot of people do that. And that's the world that we live in. But for those that are actually disciplined and actually take advantage of their time, they're actually talking about something, educational. And you can tell the people that actually invest their time appropriately, and you can tell the people that don't. Plain and simple. And it's funny to me that people don't think it's obvious, right? That people think they can just fake it and make it. You probably can, because there's a lot of fake people out there, but for the real ones, for the ones that spend their time appropriately, for the ones that focus on themselves and get better, the ones that spend their time developing and all that, man, you can't hide it. You can't hide it from them. Like you really can't. And you may think you can, but the truth of the matter is you really can't. The more I read my Bible and the more I study spiritually, I can tell the cat people. I can tell the people that don't really have a great relationship with God. One, you can tell that by how they not just treat some people, but how they treat all people. But I can also tell in their prayers and the stuff that they say and the stuff that they preach about. You can tell it's like, man, I think you cap. And of course, I'm not saying perfect and I know everything. What I'm saying is, because I'm getting better and better and better, I can identify when someone is at the surface level and trying to portray themselves as deep, but in reality, I can tell they're not. You're not that guy, pal. How that dude said. I can really tell, and it's obvious for a lot of people. If I walked up, if I went into a doctor's office right now and just try to start talking about, medical terminologies and medical stuff like that, they could tell I was capped. They could easily tell I was capped. All right. If I just started saying what I heard on, what's that hospital show? Grey's Anatomy. If I just started saying what I heard on Grey's Anatomy, they could tell instantly that I was a liar and I didn't know what I was talking about. They could tell I was just regurgitating what I heard on television. You can do the same thing with anything that you do. If you really like basketball, you can tell the people that are cat with basketball. If you really like art, you can tell the people that are capping art. If you really take the time and invest, if you make content, the way that when you make content, you look at content differently. You know how hard it is to make it, how talented you have to be to put that, not talented, but how much hard work you have to do to put that stuff out. To edit, video editing is difficult. I only know because now I do it. Or you have to spend a lot of hours doing it. And to the great editors, you can tell they're really good. To the ones that are just throwing something in there, you can tell.
Excuse me.
The cat people, like it's obvious in anything that you do. So having discipline doesn't just make you better; it also makes you more aware of your surroundings. All right. What are other things that we do to waste time? Some people would say video games, and I would agree with that. All right, I would agree. And then someone would ask, and why do I play it? It's because if I know this is how I'm doing to relax and decompress and just chill out, get a distraction, then I'm doing that for that reason. But if I do it for 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day mindlessly, then yes, I'm wasting time, right? You know, you gotta do all things in moderation. You gotta appropriately plan out your day. My bishop says, plan your pleasure because your pain. No, schedule your pleasure because your pain will schedule itself. And that's real. Like, that's the truth. Right? You have to be the one to take control of what's going on around you, what's going on to you, what's going around. Not around you. You can't control everything, right? But you can control your situation. Excuse me. You can't control your situation either, but you can control how you handle things and how you manage your time, how you react to certain things. All right, and the only way for you to get better at handling certain things, is to have discipline. I might actually edit that part out. I ain't gonna cap to you. The only way to handle those things, or the only way to get better in certain situations, is to have discipline and practice. The things that you do behind closed doors, it'll pay off. The hours and hours and hours that you put in and no one appreciates, it'll pay off. The countless days, weeks, months, years that you invest into something, and you feel like, oh my God, like no one's noticing or no one's appreciating, it will pay off. You can't have the mentality that just because it gets hard, you quit. Just because, you didn't see the immediate results, it's time to give up. That's actually one of the worst things that you can do. It's detrimental for you. It's detrimental for the people that rely on you. Having discipline is huge. Just because things get hard doesn't mean, okay, it's over with. I quit. Nah. Fall down 6 times, get up 7. Fall down 100 times, get up 101 times. The fact that you can get up is God, that's a victory in itself. That's a victory alone. Just being able to get up is a victory.
I'll find who did this,
Very true.
and I'll get
Very true. And you got to have the discipline to push, even though that is hard. Listen, with no discipline, you will be your worst enemy. That's a promise. I'm just take it from me. Listen to my stories, the stuff that I say on Gyms and Gaming, and how I can talk just so freely now, and how I can just talk so confidently now. It's because I know how to overcome certain things. Only because I started having to change the way that I think, change the way that I behave, change my, how I am, only by changing my time, or changing the way I spend my time, having discipline. So, you can do it too. Just remember that. You gotta have discipline.